right. What's up, everybody? It's the poet, the artist, the creator, and energy curator, Drika. And we are live in 501, and you know what's up. So today we are interviewing Ebony Blevins, who's a photographer here in Little Rock, Arkansas. If you've seen any of her work, you know that she is super talented and super amazing. Just this past month, I believe, she got a chance to put up her own mural on 7th Street, which is part of the 7th Street Mural Project here in Little Rock, Arkansas, near the Capitol. So definitely be sure to tune in today to see what all she has to offer. And as we wait for her to join, if you could go ahead and share this video, and you never know who you may be able to help today. So thank you to everybody who's already tuned in. Hey, Stacy. Glad to have you on. Everybody say hey to Stacy. Hey, Celeste. How are you? All right, so I'm about to add Ebony. Let's see if it actually lets us. This is so intense. Technology is really giving me the blues today. All right, it said the guest declined the live video. Let's try again. There we go.
Finally, Lord.
Here we
See,
are.
this is
Yay!
this is what happened whenever I was at with the Wingate folks and couldn't get logged in, and they had to reschedule the whole talk.
Wow. Okay. Well, look, we're here, just a little behind,
Yeah.
but we are here, and that is what matters. But you know what? This is perfect because this is, an artist interview, and usually artists, we're late or we're behind a little bit. So look at us playing into the stereotype.
I know, right?
Right. So, hey, everybody, as you can see, we now have Ebony here. So the party has commenced. I did want to give a background on how I know Ebony. I actually probably don't remember how we first met, but like an encounter that really stood out to me is when she shot the photo shoot for my women's group. So it was a Halloween photo shoot called Hollow Queens, and she literally came out and took pictures in the dark. She's a true artist, and I appreciate you for doing that. So Ebony, I'm gonna let you go ahead and introduce yourself and just let people know a little bit about you, your background, and whatever else you want to offer us.
Okay, I got started in photography when I was 8 in the 4-H club in Pine Bluff, Miller 4-H club. And at like age 12, I won my first award for a photo essay that I still have framed on my mantle in my fireplace for a day at the zoo. And age 14, I took my first photography class with my dad. It was a night class. And, from there, I was really more involved in like sports and band through high school. And then in college, I found my way back to photography again. I was still taking pictures every now and then, like just here and there. But really in college, I started out as an art major and then changed to journalism. And that's what I've been doing ever since. So I've been doing photography for over 20 years.
That's awesome. So is your dad a photographer?
No, he was my dad passed away in December. So he was a hobbyist photographer. And then my grandfather also was a hobbyist. And my grandfather gave me my first camera at age 14. My first, not my first camera, my first like 35 millimeter camera. When I started out in 4-H, I was using 110 cameras, which is, the long with the little clicky winding thing. But yeah, that's how I got started.
Okay, well that's awesome. It's usually like that, the artistry be in the bloodline.
Yeah.
So that's very great. So I guess you just answered my first question. How did you get started into the art? So I wanted to know, how did your art impact your life?
I mean, it's art's life. Like everybody always said, art is life. But art is my life. It shaped my life It's made me more like a well-rounded person, I guess. Art does that. And just overall, I think art is just very important in my life. And I always seek out beautiful things, beautiful music, beautiful food, delicious food, anything, is like that's culinary arts, So, my mind just went blank. I have a bad habit of that whenever I'm doing interviews, but overall, art, that's all I do is I try to take a photojournalistic style to my photography, and that's what I'm working on in my fine art.
Okay, and I know I've told people that you're a photographer, but you do some interesting things with photography, and I kind of wanted you to talk about that. Like, I forgot what it was that you showed me, but you were like transferring images on something. But yeah, because you kind of break down like how complex it is when you do, like, you don't just use the camera, like you do other things too with
Right.
that.
Right. So I also do, I don't know if you know, I also do leather work as well. Um, yeah, and I haven't touched it in a while, but I've found a way to transfer photos to leather. And I'm working to perfect that a little bit more. Um, and I have that mural, like you had mentioned earlier in the first part of the broadcast, that I'm working on right now. Actually, Jose Hernandez is doing the design around the photo that I had put up on the wall, and I got to finish painting the sidewalk black as well. I realized that today. One of my friends had done a drone video of all the murals through there a couple days ago, and I realized I need to finish the work on my own little space as well. But I think I had showed you cyanotype. Was it blue? Was it a blueprint? Yeah. So I do cyanotypes, which is a hand. It's an old photographic technique where you coat the paper, you let it dry, you coat the paper with a light sensitive, actually a UV sensitive chemical, let it dry, put a negative or objects on top of that coated paper, expose it to UV light, whether it's the sun or a UV lamp, and then you develop it by putting it in water and peroxide and stuff. And that's how those prints are made. And that's a technique that I've been working on a lot more lately. I was introduced to in college, so it's one of my favorite things.
See, and that sounds really interesting, and it's so crazy. I really was engaged with what you were saying, but I did not understand any of it. See, and that's the beauty of art. Okay, we lost Ebony. But as you can see, she talked about, I believe it's called Cyanotype. Has anyone ever heard of that kind of art? If you have, say so in the comments or send me some hearts or likes, and we're gonna wait for Ebony to try to rejoin. In the meantime, the Arkansas Arts Council said, yeah, so glad Ebony is able to be with us. Perion Heard is on. Hey, Perion. Hollow Queen, so creative. Yes, thank you, Stacy.
Okay.
We lost
Sorry,
you.
one of my friends was calling. I'm gonna have to get her later. I told her. She knew that I was having this interview. But anyways.
It's okay. She was excited for you. Shannon Former said, Ebony is truly a creative. She does everything and does it well. Crochet, photography, graphic design, leatherwork. She's such a gem. What is Ebony's last name and where can we see her work?
Oh, my last name is Blevins, Blevins. You can see my work on my website at Ms. Camera Lady. That's MsCameralady.com. Or you can find my work also on Instagram at Ms. Camera Lady, and Facebook, my fan page is photography-by-MsCameraLady.com.
Okay, there we go. Miss
I'll type it in there to the comments.
Laura said yes. There are so many cool things to do with photography, and Ebony is the best. Okay, Ebony, did you want to add anything else to what you were saying before we got disconnected?
Oh, with the cyanotype process though, that's where blueprints come from. That's why it's blue. It's because
Okay,
of that process, and that's where it comes from. It's cyan means blue, so that's where it was the first female photographer used cyanotype to document plants, and yeah, she would lay the plants on the leaves and stuff on the paper and expose it to sunlight, and then develop the paper and document plants and things like that.
okay. And can we actually talk about a little bit about your mural on 7th Street? So it's not in painting, right?
Well, it's a mix. It's part photo on vinyl, and then the rest of the design is painted on. So I did a graphic. I did a design in graphics, a graphic design, and I had the photo printed by a vehicle wrap company, and then they installed that onto the wall. And Jose Hernandez is painting the rest of the design that I had come up with around that vinyl image. So that's not painted. The image isn't painted, but the rest of it around is.
Okay, and what is the image of, or what
Oh,
does it
I'm sorry.
represent?
I call it Resist, Persist. It has a lady standing in silhouette on top of her car in front of the state capitol. It's mostly black. There is a gold scroll design around it as a kind of a frame. And then on the side, it'll say resist in vertical letters and persist on the other side. It's more horizontal, but it's coming out pretty well. I'm not sure whenever we'll have it
Resist
finished
and
yet, but yeah.
so what does that mean to you? Resist and persist. Why did you choose that?
Because I want people to be inspired to resist oppression and persist in the struggle of, getting
Wow.
equal rights for everyone. So,
Right. And that's interesting. We can go ahead and segue into the fact that earlier this year, with the um, things that were going on with police brutality and all the protests that were happening, can you talk about what it was like for you? I know you were on the front lines, literally documenting history,
mhm.
basically. So you had some really powerful photos that came from these protests. I know you traveled. So can you I want you to really talk about like what was your motivation behind doing it, because I literally remember seeing you at the protest. You were there from like sun up to sundown, and you were drenched in sweat. Do you know how committed you have to be to do something like that? Because when I get hot, I go. But you were out there, and you were really persistent.
Yes.
So can you tell us about what was your passion behind just being committed in that way, and what was that experience like for you?
Okay. Well, I felt when the protests first began, I felt a sense of responsibility to get out and document and to capture my perspective of what I saw going on in the protests. And
Mm.
I just knew that I had to do my part as much as I can, as often as I can, wherever I could, as much as I could around the state. I went, to Harrison. I went to Zinc, Arkansas, which is right outside of Harrison, where there's a Klan compound supposedly there. Went down to Sheridan for a protest, went to El Dorado, went to Clarksville. I think it's Clarksville, yeah. And where they had the Black Lives Matter banner in that small town, and people didn't quite agree with that. And I went up to Portland as well for almost a week to document um,
Wow.
some people from Arkansas in the protests there as well. And the
Mm.
experience itself was traumatizing to a point, especially the Portland and
Wow.
like Zinc, Arkansas. Whenever there are armed people around that are against what the protests are for, it's a little bit more
Mm.
scary and unnerving. But go off of my intuition, and I just try to keep on documenting, as much as I can, things that are odd, outliers and stuff like that, because you never know who's going to have the balls to like attack people and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I just felt important. I felt it was important for me to be out there to share the story, for future generations, or not share, but to document, history for future generations. At least, at least do my part.
And
Yeah.
you know what? Right. Well, that's beautiful. Glad you used your talent for something good, because I definitely think it was just a historical moment, just in society now. Because on top of the protest, COVID
Yeah.
was happening, and we were in the height of it, where we don't know where it's coming from or how it's transmitted. So you literally had people on the front lines in large numbers, despite the fact that we were basically on lockdown. So it was like this. It was such an intense moment, because it was almost as if people were literally trying to sacrifice. Well, not literally, but well, no, literally, in a sense, sacrificing their life and their health to make a statement about the fact that, just like your message on your mural, like, we will resist oppression and be persistent in doing so. So thank you for doing that. I think artists, we're like the documenters of history. So while you were taking pictures, I was writing poems, somebody was painting a picture, and that's the beauty of art, like, it transcends all ages, and it can last forever. It does last forever, you know. So thank you again. And I did want to read one of these questions from the Arkansas Arts Council. I think it kind of goes into this as well. Can you talk about the social justice exhibition and documenting for the Wingate exhibit at Hendrix College?
Oh, yeah, the exhibition at Hendrix College. Huh?
I'm sorry. So this, it would be important to ask this question first, then go back to that one. But Stacy wanted to know, were you ever scared or unnerved while
Oh,
protesting?
yes, a lot. And if it got too much, then I got away from it. But there are times, so like, I know when I had that Wingate interview on Monday, he was talking about how, I didn't document as much, violence or things in my images. And that's because I'm scared. I'm a scary person. And if it gets too much, if it's too overwhelming, then I leave. And so I have to go off my intuition. And Portland was even scarier because I wasn't there alone, and it wasn't an option for me to leave on my own. I had to leave with the team. So yeah, so I would end up staying out longer than what I was comfortable doing. But I have awesome images to show from that.
Right. I mean, that's still bravery, though, to even take on that kind of responsibility. Shannon said it's so important that we control our narrative. Thank you, Ebony, for your passion and dedication. So we can go back to the question. Can you talk about the social justice exhibition and documenting for the Wingate exhibit at Hendrix
Okay.
College?
Yes, the exhibition I think it's Let Us March at the Wingate Art Museum at Hendrix. They used 10 of my images in the exhibition. I'm grateful that I was chosen to be a part of that exhibition. And it's just the whole exhibition is awesome. All the artists that have contributed to the exhibition are amazing. And if everybody, it's up until, I believe, January 22nd. And if you have an opportunity to go see it, it's on the outside of the building, or it shows to the outside of the building through their window. They call it their window gallery. And I was surprised how they had it laid out. And I gave them options of like hundreds of pictures, and they chose 10. So it's wonderful. That's all I can really say. Is it's been a great experience.
Okay, Great, great, great. Well, that actually lead me to my next question, which I know you have a lot of highlights of your career in a short time that I've known you, so I can only imagine what you've probably done before I've known you. So, could you talk to us about some of your highlights, some of the highlights of your career?
Okay. Well, one major highlight was me getting my actually getting my bachelor's degree in 2000 in journalism with the emphasis in photojournalism. And being chosen for this exhibition and being chosen for another exhibition at, I believe, Art Intersection in Arizona. A couple of my cyanotype prints were selected for the alternative photography exhibition earlier this year. And that was a great opportunity. I've submitted more work. I've been submitting work for exhibitions and things a lot more frequently now than I did in the past because I was scared. Once again, fraidy
Wow.
cat. I'm really hard on myself about my photography. I try not to be, but that's the only way I can get better. So, um,
Right.
but other things, let's see. I used to work for the Democrat Gazette. Um, I still freelance for AY, Arkansas Money and Politics, and it was just great being able to join their pool of freelancers for those publications. But
Okay.
hmm, oh,
Oh, I was gonna say, how long have you done that with
about
them?
a year and a half now. Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
something like that. Yeah, I've been working with them on and off for about a year and a half, and then being hired. It's I'm just grateful anytime people reach out to me and hire me for my photography. And I think each job is a highlight of my career because it gives me a chance to meet new people, make new connections, and just improve my own photography with every shoot.
Right. That's beautiful. Growth is always
Yes,
good. So as you know, I do focus a lot on arts and education. So, what's your take? How important do you think it is to have art in our education
it is
system?
so very important. There are so many kids that are out there that don't have a means to express themselves because their art programs have been taken away from the schools,
Hmm.
and they need it. It's needed for a well-rounded person, just a well-rounded individual, or for children to become well-rounded adults, and to have
Hmm.
an appreciation for art and the arts.
Exactly. I definitely agree with you about it helping students be well rounded because I think art literally, and I probably say this every other week, but I think it helps a lot with like our critical thinking
Hmm.
skills and our ability to like make decisions and be confident in like the choices we make for
Yes.
ourselves. Because with art, you literally get to create whatever you want, whatever may pop up in your mind, and it's
Yeah.
yours. And as an artist, we all know like whatever you create is right because it's yours. Like there's no wrong to it. I know a lot of times we see, I've seen like these huge canvases and they would like have a speck of paint on it. And I used to be like, yeah, what is that? But it would always have like some kind of deep meaning to it that actually resonated with a lot of people. So I think art just has the ability to reach people. And even if it's not all people that it reaches, it still has its pull and its impact on
Hmm.
people. So that's great. Definitely agree with you. When you were in school, was there an emphasis on the arts?
Yes. I started drawing when I was 5, and art was my favorite subject in school. Still, one of my favorite art teachers is Susan Williams. She's Dr. Alonzo Williams' wife, and she was and she hates for me to mention it, that she was my high school art teacher, and she was so wonderful and supportive of her students in art as well. In college, it's just a little different, because I had an art professor who encouraged me to change my major, and I ended up listening and doing that. But I've come back to art again because I've known since I was 5 that I've wanted to be an artist.
Wow, that's powerful. Look at you. You
Yeah.
stuck to it. That's
Hmm.
nice. You know, artists get told a lot of times to have a plan
Yeah.
B or that it's not going to work. You're not going to make
Yeah.
money. You know, you can do that on the side. It's just a hobby. Like it's not taken serious. But I'm so glad to see you stuck with it. And so, and I did not write this question down, but I did want to ask. I know you said one of your teachers was a big influence in your life too, but I wanted to know like who are some artists, maybe some local artists, or I mean even famous people that you admire or draw inspiration from.
Well, local artists that my parts of people of my tribe are my friend Shannon, who keeps sending supportive comments. Perry and Hurd, he's so awesome with those banners, and his artwork
Mhm.
is very empowering and inspiring for me. All the artists over at the 7th Street murals are amazing, and I'm just glad to be able to get to know them as well. Adesia Cooper, she is, oh my gosh, she's a beast. And she's only what,
Yeah,
19, 20?
yeah, she's
She's so awesome. I need to buy one of her pieces. And I mean, just like famous people, well, not necessarily famous, but better known photographers that I know, like Jamel Shabazz. His work is amazing, documenting hip hop from the my friend Norman DeShong is one of my mentors. He shoots celebrities or photographs celebrities. I have to be careful with my words. He photographs for celebrities like Queen Latifah and Roy Jones Jr. When I met him, he was working with Roy Jones Jr. It's just, and then Roy De Carava, who has a book with Langston Hughes called The Sweet Flypaper of Life. My words are getting all mixed up. Don't mind me. But his street photography is amazing from the early 1900s. And Gordon Parks, of course, Gordon Parks as well. So it's just so many
yeah,
different influences.
yeah. There's a lot of
Yeah.
artists here in the
Hmm.
world. So, what's some advice that you would give any aspiring photographers, up and coming artists?
Well, photographers take lots of pictures. Take classes on technique, on the photography theory, because photography is not just picking up a camera, pointing it, and shooting it. You have to learn. It helps a lot to
Right.
learn the technical side of photography. As an artist overall, don't give up. Keep on pushing through all the naysayers. There's going to be tons of people that will try to shoot you down because they want to bring you down to their level. And you just have to do
Wow.
things on your own and figure it out for yourself. That's what I'm doing, working from photojournalism to fine art. I'm creating my own path in this. I don't know what I'm doing. I have
Mm-hmm.
no idea, but it's going to happen. So
Oh,
life has shown me that, as long as you put it out there, yeah, as long as you put it out there
I love that. I definitely.
in the universe conspires to make it happen. Don't worry about the how, just know that it will.
Ooh, wow. Now that's a word. Okay. Well, do you have any upcoming projects coming up?
Right now I've just been doing client work and just trying to finish that mural with the 7th Street mural project. I can't think of anything else right now. I've entered work for a couple of exhibitions and haven't heard word back yet on those, but I don't know. Working on an exhibition of my own as well, but hey, I still got to get
Mm-hmm.
through all these 50,000 plus pictures from the protests that I still have. I shot over 50,000. Yeah,
50,000?
since,
Oh, that was a
oh
real
yeah,
number.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, it's a real number. But yeah, I shot over 50,000 images for the protests, and I'm still working through those slowly.
Mm-hmm. Oh well, I mean, I don't know. I should send you some good energy, some focus, and I want to sprinkle a little magic on you so you can get that done. Definitely. So could you? No, that's
Yeah,
like
the
Salt
Salt
Bay.
Bay.
Yeah, let me sprinkle it on you like that. So can you tell us again how people can contact you or follow you and see what you have going on?
Yeah, Facebook, photography by MissCameraLady.com. Instagram at Miss Camera Lady. Remember, it's MS, not MISS. And my website, MissCameraLady.com.
Awesome, thank you. Any last words? I always like that.
Keep pushing.
Kick, push, coast,
Keep pushing, not kick.
resist, and
Yeah,
persist.
resist and persist. Exactly. Exactly.
You know what? I did know that it wasn't the same words, but it made me think of that song. So
I have a
I had to
I
pause
have
for it.
usually have an ongoing soundtrack in my head too. So people will say keywords and things like that, and it will pop up just like that.
Exactly. 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 Well, thank you, Ebony. Everybody that's tuned in, thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to share this video and check out what Ebony Blevins, Miss Camera Lady, has going on. And definitely be sure to check out her mural that's going to be a part of the 7th Street Mural Project. And just make sure you support. Thank you all for tuning in. And Ebony, thank
Thank
you for giving us some
you.
of your time. So, oh, wait, we have a question. This is a
Uh-oh.
good question. Are you going to produce a book of the photographs from the
That
protest?
that's in the works too.
That's
That's in the work. That's one of the ideas that I'm working on as well. But like I said, I got to get through the
definitely.
pictures first. That's the first step.
Yeah,
So,
we got
but
you.
yeah, that's in the works.
Okay. Well, awesome. Again, thank you. I appreciate it. It's always great to talk to you. You always have such a beautiful spirit.
Thank you.
Um, so thank you for your contributions to the art life.
Thank you for having me, Drake. I
All right.
appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right, bye.
Bye bye.